Dude, I'm burnt out. I'm not even lying. I took part in Chasm's Call 3D challenge, and as someone who never took part in any of these challenges, I think I tried to execute on an idea that I thought I can do in 1 month, and I was barely able to submit something that was 5 out of 10. I mean, I will show you my final submission in a minute, but what I think is that the problem was that I took an idea that was unrealistic for me. I literally had an idea where there will be spiders, and I have never even animated a character, let alone a spider. So this was gonna be hard, and I knew this was gonna be hard, but I pushed through it. I kept my head up and I tried to make the best that I could. Obviously my art compared to other artists is like very average, if not lower. This was a journey. And so while I was working on this challenge, I had a lot of issues. I had to troubleshoot a lot of issues. My laptop kept crashing because it is a RTX 3060 laptop. It's not a very powerful laptop. My idea that I finally did submit was like 5% of what I had in my mind. Within this video, I'm going to give you a few points on how to stay motivated as 3D artists and what helped me, especially through this Chasm's Call challenge, to stay motivated as a 3D artist. And I think one of the main reasons why as a 3D artist I was able to stay motivated and push through this challenge was the fact that there was a deadline. Now it sounds weird that maybe deadlines actually crush creativity, but it's actually quite the opposite. As Ren said,
deadlines and limitations really help refine the idea itself. Creativity thrives under pressure. I mean, that is actually one of the nice things about the render challenge. It's both a blessing and a curse. It's like everyone always wants to have more time to work on stuff, but it really forces you to sort of like focus on what is important and, more importantly, to move on once you're done.
creativity thrives under pressure, and I do agree with that, because in this challenge I approached things in animations that I never did. I had never tried to render a full animation in Unreal, but I did because I knew that I was not going to be able to render out the final animation in Blender cycles. I also never did motion matching of animations, but I still tried to do it. I also tackled some cloth physics, some wind forces and etc. in Unreal Engine, and this is coming from a guy who never did all of this stuff in Unreal Engine. So most of the animation that I did within my Chasm's Call submission was all done in Unreal Engine, and it was extremely hard because I wasn't just making an art piece for this challenge. I was literally learning new things so I can make something for this challenge. And even then I still think that my result is very mediocre compared to some of the best art pieces that I've seen on the internet. Like there are literally Chasm's Call submissions which are like 10 times better in render quality and in animation quality than mine. But I think that I still got to learn a lot from this journey. And I think part of the reason was the deadline itself. So yeah, I think if you really want to stay motivated as a 3D artist, even if you have not taken part in some challenge like this, within a deadline, I think you will be able to do something that you thought you will not be able to do in a very long time. So yeah, I think deadlines do help. Now staying curious and staying enthusiastic about 3D art is not as easy. But I think finding inspiration online, looking out on what other people are doing. Even in this Chasm's Call animation, I was constantly searching on YouTube, seeing what other people were making. I was seeing their progress reports and progress videos, and those helped me out a lot as well. They inspired me. They made me improve my own animation. Like my own animation would have been far worse if I did not take some inspiration from the other animators who uploaded their progress videos. So I think inspiration or just taking references in general helps a lot for you 3D artists to stay motivated. Another thing which might sound a little weird, but it is that you can actually use AI to generate few images just to take inspiration. I mean, in my case it did not help much, but at the same time you can do that. Like you can, if you let's say are trying to make a model of a car which doesn't exist, you can tell AI to give you a fictional model, and then you can make that in 3D. It's still going to be your model, it's still going to be your original art. So I think Inspiration, staying curious, taking references, and just in general watching other artists perform is something that will help you throughout this 3D journey. When I was working on this chasm skull animation, one of the things that kept me motivated was actually learning new techniques and skills. Now, if you keep on practicing the same thing that you already know, you will obviously get better at it. For example, if you want to become an animator and you keep on practicing animation, you will get better at it. If you keep on practicing 3D modeling, you will get better at it. But at the same time, I do think that you need to do things that you have not done yet. So for this animation specifically, I tackled things like particle effects and smoke simulation and fire simulation. I even tried to make cloth simulation, and all of this stuff I never did in Unreal Engine. I never did any of this in Unreal Engine, but I still tried it. And actually learning new things kept me motivated because I was growing in general. And when you stop growing as a 3D artist in your overall skill set, then you will actually start to get demotivated. Because once you know enough about a certain skill in Unreal or maybe in Blender or any 3D program in general, once you know enough about a particular skill, you will start to get easily bored of it and you will probably drop out of making 3D art in general. And finally, do not give up. Now this sounds very cliche, but when people look at other people's art, even me for example, I was looking at other people's progress of the chasm skull submission, and even their 1% completed art looked better than my 10%, you know. And even till today, my final submission has been submitted and I can still go back and see like 100 submissions which are technically better than mine. So do I think that I will qualify the top 100? Probably not. I will of course not qualify in the top 100, but that should not demotivate me and that should not demotivate you. Just because other 3D artists are better than you doesn't mean you should not compete with them. You know, one thing that you can learn is that you should compete with those artists and play against those artists who are better than you. Or this is something that you can apply in your life in general. You should rather lose to someone who is better than you than to win against someone who is inferior, you know. And I'm not putting down anybody who might be new to 3D art. I'm just saying this in general. Approach art or anything in your life with the mindset that you have to compete with those who are at the top. You will get the most inspiration from them. You will get the most knowledge out of this whole process in that way. And I think this will keep you motivated a lot more because you wanna grow. Because in 3D art, if you stop growing as an artist, if you stop working on your new skills, that will also be the day when you will drop out of 3D art completely because you will get bored. There is no fun in winning against people who might not be as good as you. And so it is usually better that you work hard and join all of these challenges, like join every challenge that Punisher organizes, because these challenges are really good for you to improve your skill set. You will push yourself because you have like a month of time, and this 1 month time is exactly enough for you to make something that is amazing, but it's not enough for you to make something that is unrealistic. And so with that said, I would like to conclude my video. I hope this helped out some people who want to work in 3D art, and I will see you guys in the next one.